everybody, to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show featuring Dr. Carolyn Dean. Join Dr. Dean for the next 2 hours along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders, also known as Ginny Almighty. Join Dr. Dean as she shares with us her vast range of experience, knowledge, talent, and wisdom. Phone lines are now open, and we'll be taking your calls from around the world and here in the USA.
Welcome everyone to Dr. Carolyn Dean live here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting humankind with universal love. And in the case of our very own Dr. Carolyn Dean, I say uniting humankind with incredible, impeccable health wisdom that is going to radically improve your vitality, health, and well-being. It's a big claim, but I can make it. This is Ginny Sanders, also known as Ginny Almighty, and I'm used to making big claims because I'm used to hanging around a very amazingly huge and epically incredible woman, Dr. Carolyn Dean. And we do some pretty big stuff. We do. And the great stuff that we do is we are constantly teaching everyone how to take the next step forward in their health journey, whatever it is. If you've got impeccable health, we'll get you even better. If you've got good health, we'll get you to better. If you've got so-so health, we're going to get you better. And if you've got not great health at all, you're going to be really happy because we're absolutely going to get you better. There is no end to the opportunity to improve your health, vitality, your well-being through diet, nutrition, body mechanics, exercise. I mean, Dr. Dean knows it all. Acupuncture, herbalism, as Gasku, just common sense, wonderful things that can be done. And there is no end to the improvement that you can expect. Our very own Dr. Carolyn Dean, being in her the 70s-ish, I think, says that she feels like she's 30. So, I mean, my gosh, do you get any better than that to feel the younger than you've ever felt? Being your most advanced day of age is the way I should say it, is, well, that's something, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a lot of people can say that. And by the way, no drugs, no surgery, no Botoxing baby going on here. This is 100% raw, pure natural health, vitality, and well-being. For us and for our staff, for our company, and for our radio show listeners. So we're happy you're here. Now, listen, if you've never heard of Dr. Carolyn Dean, and we get new listeners every week, which we're so thrilled about, and we're on all the podcasting platforms. We're on Stitcher, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon, we're on Apple. And so we're picking up new audience members all the time. Let me just say this. If you've never heard of Dr. Carolyn Dean, somebody told you to grab a copy of this show or join us this evening, you're going to be thrilled that you're here. Dr. Carolyn Dean, most well known for the Magnesium Miracle, the author of that book, that is the definitive treatise on magnesium. But you know, Dr. Carolyn Dean may be also starting to ascend into being most well known as the CEO of RNA Reset, our proprietary brand of dietary supplements that go spinning out around the world, 215 countries, changing lives as we go. And she may also be known as a member of the Orthomolecular Medical Group, as a MD, a naturopath, and a researcher. I mean, just an incredible all-around gal and an amazing typist, I might add. So, before I bring her on, I just want to let you know this is not a medical advice show. This is a medical inspiration show. We are inspired to support you in your health journey, and we've got all kinds of fun things to talk about tonight. So we won't give medical advice, but Dr. Dean will definitely tell you what she would do if she were you, and she has been you many days and times. And I was just on an interview with her last week where she reminded the audience once again that the way that she discovered the miracle of magnesium herself was through her own health journey. And that's the way she rolls, ladies and gentlemen, always bringing it out to the people based on her own discoveries, using herself as her own laboratory. I mean, she's actually, that's very, what is judicious, I guess is the word. So without further ado, we bring her to you this evening, live from her studio in Maui. Welcome, Dr. Carolyn Dean.
Yay, from my studio in Maui. My gosh, it's so funny, Ginny. I'm just perched here on my little massage chair. Yes, I have a massage chair because I'm sitting so much that I sit and massage myself to keep my muscles limber so that I can type all the 21 free ebooks that you can get at drcarolyndeanlive.com. So that's number one of our housekeeping. We want you to join up for subscription service to make sure you never run out of the formulas. We would like you to refer your practitioners so that they can get our practitioner's kit so that they can be recommending our formulas to all their patients. We want you to use the referral candy so everyone can get a 15% discount. And we want to remind you, starting this week, to repeat your home blood testing from Grassroots Health that you get through us. Our research project is to get as many of our customers as possible having their blood tests done so we can find out what is your magnesium, your vitamin D, your omega-3 fatty acids, and your TSH. And when you know that and know it through the Grassroots Health system, it's compared to health outcomes. So Grassroots Health is able to tell you finally what level of your test results compares to other test subjects and their health. Up to now, it's just this range of values out of a lab that shows the values in a sick population. But Grassroots Health is taking nutrient testing to a new level so that you'll find out what level you should be in order to maintain your health. So that's really important. So you have to repeat your test to find out how it compares to your first test, and how with you taking your nutrients, hopefully at higher amounts, if you've improved your test levels. Okay,
Hello.
then.
Hello?
Yeah, we're not ready yet for taking questions. I'm doing my introductory monologue. So Rachel or Ginny will put you on mute. Okay, so our magnesium deficiency survey, we're continuing that. We have over 100,000 people who filled out the magnesium deficiency survey with values of 70% of people experiencing insomnia and anxiety, 60% with muscle cramps and restless legs, heart palpitations around 50%, tension, headaches, and migraines 40%. So when people fill out this questionnaire, they immediately think, oh my gosh, what if my anxiety is magnesium deficiency? What if I take magnesium? What's going to happen? And only the best things do happen. So we'll be continuing that survey, and we are going to put it into a journal article with the help of our research doctor friend, Dr. Taylor Wallace. So we're very excited about that. He's taken on that project. And we continue on now to the radio show. But actually, Ginny, I wanted to say these words just to tell people, especially the new people, what we are about here. I don't like to talk about what's wrong, but what's right. I see the part of you, as I had done in my patients, my telephone consulting patients, or my customer. I see the part of you that's perfect, not the part of you that's sick. And that's what everyone in customer service does the same thing. They kind of model that behavior where we look at the perfection and know you can reach perfection, even though you're kind of overwhelmed by a film of sickness before your eyes. That's not how it has to be. And I think part of that is because we know our cells are perfect. And that's what I say about our formulas is they reach people at the cellular level. And at the cellular level, we're all equal, we are all perfect, and we just have to let the body decide as you take your formulas how much they're going to put in this side of your body, that side of your body, what priority they're going to focus on. If you take our formulas and sort of expect a certain thing to happen as if you're taking a drug, that's not how the body works, and that's not how the formulas work. The body works in priorities. It knows what's most important, and it'll go after that. And that happens with our customers all the time. You'll hear in the testimonials, well, I took it for this, and it actually fixed that, and 5 other things, and then it finally got to what I wanted it to do. And that's nothing but positive feedback for the person and their body and for us. So it's all good. Last week, we talked about the chronometer, CRONOMETER.com. And that is an app that you can use to find out what nutrients you're getting from your food. And somebody said they tried it, couldn't figure it out. All you have to do to make the chronometer app work is just give your name and your email, and then they email you instructions, or they direct you to the instructions that you just follow. I think it can't be any more simple than that. People can phone customer service if they continue to have problems, but it's a pretty straightforward app. And I got into it first because a customer told me about it when she was trying to figure out how much potassium she was getting in her diet. Turns out she was very low in potassium. So she began to take potassium, just over-the-counter potassium, started to feel better. And now I think she's taking pico potassium. So it's important to know what you are getting in your diet. We know our diets are deficient in nutrients, but when you're trying to balance out the amount of potassium in your body, you're going to be surprised because 4,700 milligrams is the amount of potassium that we are said to require. And 4,700, that's over a teaspoon. And we tell people to try to get as much as you can in their diet. And we realize that our patients, our customers weren't getting enough. And that's where the pico potassium comes in, where one kind of FDA defined dose is a quarter teaspoon. But a lot of people require, 800 milligrams or so, and that's 2 teaspoons of pico potassium. And what I say about our absorption is you're probably getting twice the amount of potassium, elemental potassium, from our pico potassium than you're getting from your food or other supplements. So I think most people are staying around 2 teaspoons, and I'll check with customer service and see what feedback we're getting there. I don't know if you have that information, Ginny, if that's come back to you yet, because pico potassium has only been out for a couple of months, and I don't know if people are settling on their perfect number. Maybe people in the chat could let us know. So with today's show blog, you'll find that either in your email inbox or at drcarolyndeanlive.com. And it's basically about the miracle of magnesium. Actually, that was the title of the first edition of the Magnesium Miracle. It was called The Miracle of Magnesium. And, after about 10 years or so, I get Random House, their young PR people say, oh, no, you have to start with the most important word, which is magnesium. But I think Ginny would tell you, we think miracle is the most important word because that's what we found with our Remag. It is so well absorbed at the cellular level in the picometer size. It just flows right into the cells, doesn't need any help, not adversely affected by digestion. It just goes right into the cells. And a person can saturate themselves without getting the laxative effect. So that was the big bonus with the Remag is the complete absorption and the lack of laxative effect, which lets you know kind of that your cells are getting your magnesium. The Remag is being absorbed into your cells and it's not rushing out through your intestines. And this is a pretty long blog. I'm certainly not going to be able to read it all out, but you can see where, as Jenny actually started out the show, I did have a lot of magnesium deficiency symptoms before I started researching for the book. I realized I had magnesium deficiency. I began taking a lot more magnesium and started to get the laxative effect. And that's where I began a 10-year journey to try to find a company that would make a non-laxative magnesium. I was willing just to work with them and just do it so that people could have it. But they wouldn't put the time and the money into it. So I found a chemist who could do what I needed to have done for myself, and as it turns out, for a vast majority of our customers. So going down the blog, it's magnesium itself is necessary to activate and for the function of 1,000 enzyme systems. And that's 80% of known metabolic functions in the body. And it does from head to feet. It does the functioning for our muscles, our nerves, and our energy, and making our RNA, stabilizing our RNA and DNA. It just does so much. And it's the main building block for the body. Mitochondrial dysfunction is a hot topic, and what magnesium does for mitochondria is for the ATP energy production, you require magnesium in 6 of its 8 steps. And the next section, Ginny's quoting our Dr. Wallace, who did the first Remag studies for us. And he was so inspired by what he found out about magnesium and the ability of Remag. He wrote a paper about magnesium and COVID. He said several aspects of this infectious disease mimic metabolic events shown to occur during latent subclinical magnesium deficiency. Hypomagnesemia, which is just low magnesium, is a relatively common clinical occurrence that often goes unrecognized since magnesium levels are rarely monitored in the clinical setting. Magnesium is the second most abundant intracellular element after potassium. It is involved in, he says, over 600 enzymatic reactions, including those contributing to the exaggerated immune and inflammatory responses exhibited by COVID-19 patients. So, I mean, that's important. You're hearing about vitamin C and vitamin D for boosting your immune system, but not about magnesium. And then what Ginny does next is she She cites text from the book called, what's it called? Total Body Meltdown, the 65 Reasons Why. Total Body Meltdown and the 65 Reasons Why. It's a free ebook at drcarolyndeanlive.com. And if you're intrigued by this this blog where Ginny goes into the importance of magnesium for cardiovascular health, it's been described as a public health crisis. She goes into diabetes and the half dozen ways that magnesium is important to prevent diabetes. She goes into migraines, osteoporosis, stress. We talked about that last week in our election stress week. She talks about neuropathy. So many people, develop burning pain, numbness, kind of paralysis, pins and needles, even seizures and convulsions, tingling, twitching, pains and symptoms. And most often when magnesium is not considered, people go on with these symptoms for years, and they finally decide to diagnose these people with multiple sclerosis. Now, that's completely, well, I can't say it's 100% untrue, but if they would only give people with these neurological symptoms magnesium instead of gabapentin or painkillers, they could reverse a lot of these symptoms. And when you're talking about nerve symptoms, it's scary. It's very scary. In the Magnesium Miracle book, the Random House book, I give some testimonials, a long one about a recent mom who had all these symptoms and went through a lot of different treatments and finally realized it was a magnesium deficiency. So I think that's what I'll do. That's as much as I'll do about the blog, because it is long. You can read it on your email or at drcarolyndeanlive.com and reference the free ebook, Total Body Meltdown and the 65 Reasons Why. And what that is there are 65 health conditions or disease conditions that may actually be magnesium deficiency conditions, but they're treated as diseases, and they're given drugs in order to suppress the symptoms. Whereas if a person would be allowed to take magnesium, they could overcome most, if not all, of these conditions. So I think I'll stop there and ask Ginny if she has anything to add. She always has some neat comments before I go to the half dozen mailbag questions.
Well, I do. I cannot. I have to read Joan Anderson's poem, Carolyn. Do you care?
Oh, no, go ahead. Oh,
Did you see it?
I did. I did not even get a chance to read it through, though. So I'm happy for you to read it, please.
It just reminds me of, there's so much to be said in that blog, and there are so many incredible documented facts and incredible things about Remag and all of our products. But one of the best things is our customers, and Joan Anderson, who's up in Canada, you guys, is just one of our most precious people. And look, she wrote a poem about our products. I just have to read this to you. Okay, this is what it says. Love many, trust few. Always paddle your own canoe. Refrain from judging, embrace understanding. That's the way true leaders do. Protect the goodness in your body and heart. Place completement formulas in your shopping cart. Calmness always wins the working day till home and heart beckon softly and say, "Come one, come all, it's time to play." Don't want to? Hey, even that's okay. Relax and allow. Let others show their love with a smile, a caress. Often it is the best way to keep troubles at bay. Few really get me. My mind is elastic, not fixed, but flexible, kind of like plastic. Much to the dilemma of my 60 plus kids who sometimes think I'm one board short on the magic carpet of my life, palette, or skid. I dream of becoming one heck of a force to help them and heal them while still here or above. So deep is my love. I only ask one thing in return. Take your RNA drops, guys, to keep your cells perfect. Stave off the chaos. Work instead to become healthy, hale, and wise, for true wisdom once found. For what wisdom once found is truly a godsend. Thanks to the force field of love that was given to all humanity and is around us all. And on that note, my spoon is ready. Also my tongue, dropping 1 to 15. Hold fast, nice and steady. Look out, here she comes. Slowly savor, swallow, yum.
Oh, right. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, she has a huge extended family. This is one amazing woman.
Yep. Joan is just so
Ah,
precious. I love her. And she's been at it for years, entertaining us, writing, doing wonderful things. She's definitely part of our 80s club, Carolyn, and
mhm.
she's just a treasure. So, well, as I said, we're not a health advice show, we're a health inspiration show, and Joan is part of our
Ah,
inspiration.
right.
Just having that wonderful zest for life and wanting to share that with the world and encourage people to take their drops, which I think is fantastic. So thank you,
Mhm.
Joan. Okay, that's all I have to contribute now.
Well, that was awesome. Perfect timing. Okay. And again, you must read this email because it covers so many things, and it has the references. It's a type of email you can send to friends and family who say, well, what's the science behind what you're taking? Because, people have gotten very cynical. We really have to sit people down and get them to take our formulas, often before they really grasp the depth to which they work. And we'll get to some testimonials later, but here are the questions that came in today. My name is Yo-Yo. My question is regarding fibromyalgia, which I've had for 8 years. It has been improving using transdermal magnesium. I'm about to step up by starting your Remag. How important is Remite for fibromyalgia recovery? I understand Remag and Remite work well together, but would appreciate your thoughts on Remite and fibromyalgia. Okay, so my take on fibromyalgia, Yo-Yo, has always been that it's magnesium deficiency and yeast overgrowth. And other minerals are definitely involved, because what happens with yeast overgrowth is the toxins from yeast. There are 178 yeast byproducts in their life cycle, and some of them block hormones. They block thyroid for sure. So you working on your fibromyalgia means working on your yeast overgrowth, but you also have to drag your thyroid back into functioning from it being blocked. And the Remite is going to do that, because 9 of the 12 minerals in Remite support thyroid hormone production. And in terms of treating the yeast, I've tried to make that a little easier to follow. And we find with our new Flora Revive probiotic antifungal and Pico Silver as a natural immune booster and anti all infectious organisms, that those two together, and a fairly strict yeast diet, just in the beginning, avoiding sugar, gluten, and dairy, and then adding those foods back as you find yourself improving with the silver and the Flora Revive. So yes, a little more than Remite in order to really deal with 100% of fibromyalgia. And next question. Andrew says, I take 1,500 milligrams of magnesium oxide. I'm happy about the laxative effect. I have no health problems at all, and I'm 65. Is that okay? Well, what a person feels, and if you're feeling fine, then certainly that's okay. It's just that with the 4% absorption of magnesium oxide, which we know that scientifically you're only getting 60 milligrams of magnesium in your body, and the rest is hopefully not giving you diarrhea, because you don't want to have more than 2 bowel movements a day. I know people say more, but when you have loose stool, you are pulling out your minerals. I'm not going to tell you to stop magnesium oxide. What you could do is an experiment, get some Remag from Naomi at our UK distributor. I'll get Ginny to chime in right now and tell us what's the website over there in the UK.
Botanica Health and Sports. Botanica Health and Sports in the UK is the website, and it's Botanica, Botanica health.co.uk, and that's Naomi and Alan.
Nice.
Yep.
So you could do an experiment. I mean, our philosophy is, yes, I'm perfectly happy where I am, but I'm ready for more. I mean, who knows how far we can go with our health. So I would do an experiment with Remag and see how much better you can be, Andrew. Next topic or question. Someone is asking and has asked before about nitric oxide. Gary says he's interested in finding a good supplement for increasing nitric oxide levels. Now, I've written about nitric oxide in the Magnesium Miracle book. So here's what I say about it. The evidence has been mounting for decades that magnesium plays a crucial role in the prevention of atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis. Magnesium maintains the elasticity of the artery wall. It dilates blood vessels. It prevents calcium deposits and is necessary for the maintenance of healthy muscles, including the heart muscle itself. Smooth muscle cells provide integrity and control the dilation of the arterial cavity, triggered by the calcium-magnesium ratio in the body. Calcium causes contraction, magnesium causes relaxation, which together control blood pressure and flow in the artery. A final messenger for the dilation process is nitric oxide, which is dependent on magnesium. So what I read all before finding about the final messenger is that magnesium is driving all those functions, and it drives the nitric oxide as the final messenger. So it's not a matter of buying a nitric oxide supplement. It's a matter of taking enough magnesium to make your own nitric oxide as the final messenger when it needs to come into action. That's my whole modus operandi, is to give the body the building blocks so that the body can decide when it wants to detox, when it wants to dilate something, when it wants to contract something. So when you have those building blocks, then your body is functioning beautifully. So there. Next question. Susan is asking, can transdermal application of your Pico magnesium help, and that's Remag, help sacroiliac pain? My husband is on a mild dose of Eliquis, the blood thinner for deep vein thrombosis in his leg, was told he can't take many helpful nutrients, including magnesium, because they will thin the blood. He's been on the blood thinner for more than 6 months, and I believe that he has become mineral deficient. I was hoping to rub some magnesium on his achy sacroiliac joint so that he could get the health benefits of magnesium without taking it by mouth and further thinning his blood. So of course you can hear my tone. It just drives me crazy that these doctors think magnesium is a drug, like a blood thinner, and they tell people to stay away from a nutrient that 80% of their known metabolic functions require. I mean, where did they get that authority to be able to say that? So magnesium is not a blood thinner. What it does is helps balance the calcium in the body so that calcium does not cause blood clots. But it's still not a blood thinner. And why maybe they're talking about stop everything is because they haven't done their research, they haven't read, they don't know what they're talking about in a sense. So you just say no, no, no. But it used to be when Coumadin, the rat poison, was used, that they did tests to check the bleeding time, or the clotting, I should say the clotting time. And now they don't even bother. They just give you a dose and off you go. So then they have to pretend like, well, don't take anything that might also thin your blood. But the whole thing is very suspect. I would say, Susan, you and your husband could read more about magnesium, get my Magnesium Miracle book, where, I try to discuss this. But at the same time, I can't tell you to stop taking the blood thinner. I can't even, quote, prescribe Remag for you. You'd have to create that opportunity for yourself. But you could take the Remag and put it externally all over that leg. I mean, just think of it, 6 months to get rid of a DVT. Well, why is your husband still on it? The big thing about DVT, deep vein thrombosis, is dehydration. So make sure that there's enough hydration with sea salted water. Take your husband's weight in pounds, divide that in half, take that number, and drink that many ounces of water a day. And in every liter, put a 1/4 teaspoon of a good sea salt that has some color to it, so that it's not all processed out. But yeah, so frustrating, this business about, oh, you've got kidney disease, you can't take magnesium. And then people are dying on their dialysis machines from atrial fibrillation because they don't have enough magnesium. It's horrible. The next question, someone says, I've asked this question so many times, but no one seems to be able to answer it. So here you're going to get your answer. Please ask Dr. Dean, why is it when I take the tiniest amount of magnesium that within an hour I get terrible side effects? That is only one tiny dose. Dizziness gets worse, extreme weakness and fatigue, palpitations, terrible brain fog, trouble breathing, anxiety worse than ever. And it doesn't matter which kind of magnesium either. And Debbie is asking this. Okay, well, what it sounds like, when people start talking about brain fog and weakness and fatigue and, well, all of it, dizziness, it sounds like yeast overgrowth to me. So there's that aspect. You look at my book, Reset the Yeast Connection. Look at doing the bentonite and the psyllium first. If you're too toxic to take magnesium, it may be too toxic to detox. So what you do is bind up some of these toxins with bentonite and psyllium. and start pulling them out, so that when you take magnesium, for example, or when you do the yeast detox formulas, you're not building up more toxins. See, what magnesium does is it helps detoxify. So when it's detoxifying and killing off organisms like yeast, then the dead yeast release all these products. There's 178 of them. So you want to get the free download of Reset the Yeast Connection at drcarolyndeanlive.com. Look through that, see if it makes sense, fill out the questionnaire, see what your numbers are, and then slowly start getting rid of your toxins with the bentonite and psyllium. And then maybe the next thing you'll add is Remag, or maybe the Flora Revive or the Pico Silver, and just slowly get better. And the last question is, my son has ALS, that's amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. He's taking Remag and Remite and desiccated liver pills. Can he take D3K2 and more zinc with this? And I mean, I can't prescribe. I guess what I would say is, if it were my son, I'd absolutely be using those products as well. I would get a blood test for the vitamin D to see where the level is and how much D3K2 to take. So that's where I'd start. And for our radio show listeners, we probably still have a handful of free home blood test kits that you could get, Christina, for your son and for yourself. And the D3 and zinc, they are hugely important for boosting the immune system in the fall flu season and whatever comes of that. Hugely important. So you can get in touch with at support at RNA Reset. Ask them if there are any more free home test kits. And a reminder to our people who have done the first test, you have to start getting your follow-up tests to see if your levels are improving with the adjustments you made in your formulas. And here what do you pick? I give up my time. What did they say in the hearings, Ginny? I forfeit my time.
Yes, you forfeit your time.
I'm done. I'm gonna drink some water while you take over.
Okay. Well, let me just remind everybody, this is a call-in talk radio show. Now that Dr. Dean's addressed her opening comments and done some of our emails, we'll be going to the phones to engage our audience, those who are calling in. If you're listening to the archive and anything comes up in our archive that you're concerned about or need clarification, we'd like you to email us at questions, questions, at Dr. Carolyn Dean Live. That's questions at Dr. Carolyn Dean Live. And that will trigger Melody Rose. She'll get the information. She's listened to the show. She'll know how to respond and also get Dr. Dean involved if that's required. For those who are on the line now and have called our call-in number at 646-558-8656, and you want to talk to Dr. Dean this evening, you've got to hit *9 on your keypad. That raises your hand here in the studio soundboard, lets us know that you're on the phone and you want to talk to Dr. Dean, and then we'll start taking calls and bring you on. So again, *9, we'll start waving those hands. If you don't hit *9, your phone remains on mute and you will not be able to talk to Dr. Dean this evening. So again, *9. And for those of you who do want to call in, 646-558-8656 with the ID 8836953587. That's posted on the YouTube image. That's posted on our chat line. That's posted at Dream Vision 7 Radio. That's in all of our emails. So I know it's kind of a long, cumbersome number. If you're looking at our email, you can just click the button. Brian's made it easy. It'll just dial you right into the show. So we'll take some phone calls tonight, Carolyn. And one thing before we get to the phones, though, is I do want to support, and talking about that blood testing kit, Patrick, our very most precious Patrick, got his kit, got his test results sent in. So he wants to tell you his magnesium was 42, his vitamin D was 34, and his TSH was 1.2. And also his omegas were just at 7.88. So he said he was a little shocked that his omegas were low because he's been taking the Blue Ice Royal, 4 pills a day, and he eats quite a bit of fish. So, and also I think, didn't they want the vitamin D to be between 40 and 60 for men, Carolyn?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, so the magnesium is kind of in line. I started out at 60. When I started taking extra vitamin D, my level went down to, I think it was 46. So if you're going to take more vitamin D to get your level up to, to 50, Patrick, be aware you might need another half teaspoon of Remag. TSH is perfect. Now, your omega is better than mine, but this is what we found out, Patrick, with and why we wanted to do the testing, because we thought Blue Ice Royal was giving us our vitamin D and our omegas, and it's just not enough. And rather than telling people to take 6 of the Blue Ice Royal, we decided to make our own D3K2 reset, and we are making our own vegan omega-3 fatty acids, which will also contain vitamin A and vitamin E. So, we just cover the waterfront. So I was going to say to Patrick, he could wait for maybe eat more fish and wait for our omega product, or get an omega-3 from Amazon or whatever. I went with the vegan algae omega-3 because I burp with fish oils, and that makes me not want to take them. And with this one, I eat them or I swallow them on an empty stomach, and I don't even burp them that way. So thank you, Patrick. That gave me a chance to say some words.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the phone, Dr. Dean, this evening. Let's go to area code 731. I'm going to ask you to unmute your phone, area code 731, by sending you a little blue button on your phone. And when you unmute 731, there you go. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. Give us your name and then your question or comment, please.
It's Priscilla.
I
actually lived through the COVID.
Oh, well, good. That's kind of obvious, isn't it? Here you are. You're so funny. Well, good for you. Yes, you did tell us that you contracted it, and I think you phoned when you were kind of on the tail end.
I phoned when I had it. Yes, I had it.
Right.
I ended up with blood clots in both legs.
Oh dear. Wow.
But we treated that at home with Remag lotion and a whole lot of other things.
Right. Wow.
And my legs are pretty well back to normal.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Yes. So you weren't let me just interject that you probably heard that. I think Susan's husband, he's been on a blood thinner for 6 months with his blood clot. But you didn't go on a blood thinner then, did you?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I used peppermint oil, essential oils, peppermint, and the Remag.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you're such a trooper. My gosh. You remind me of me.
Well, when I listen when I listen on your phone, on your conference line, it's like, I've met my match, I think.
That's so cute. Oh, good for you.
I like research. I don't like to just swallow everything without research. And that's what you're doing, is researching.
Yep. All the time. Well, that's, so are they saying, Priscilla, that blood clots can be an effect of COVID, or is it because a person's just sitting around?
No, they say that COVID actually thickens the blood, and they're recommending taking baby aspirin, so and so many 100 or whatever milligrams of baby aspirin. And I'm like, I don't do baby aspirin.
I know.
And so it was like, what is a natural blood thinner?
Hello, McFly.
Hello. And
Hello.
also, you drink your sea salted water, though, don't you, as well?
Yeah.
Very good. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. What about your lungs? Did it affect your lungs?
There was one day that I could not breathe deep. I mean, like through the belly breathing, as they call it, without it hurting.
I see.
But I could breathe. I was so thankful that I could still breathe.
Yeah.
Now, I had a cough, a mucousy cough, that I had that for weeks. But I could, it came loose. I could cough through the
mucus. It was loose, right. Now, our vitamin C's are supposed to be very good for the lungs. They'll help dry the mucus. Have you gotten to our vitamin C's?
I have not gotten to that yet.
Okay.
I have.
Well, I'm going to get Ginny to send you a bottle of Whole C Reset, the capsules of the food-based vitamin C, and a jar of our ascorbic acid berry powder, and you can tell us what you think of those.
Okay.
Those will help dry up the mucus, so that mucus won't be like a trap for viruses. Right.
That's why I was so glad it was, at least I could cough it out. It wasn't just hanging in there.
And that was your hydration and the sea salt helping, because that'll cut through mucus. Awesome. Okay.
I had fever in excess of 100 degrees for 10 days.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And diarrhea for those 10 days. But I was determined. I said, this is not a remag. This is not a magnesium diarrhea. I am going to take my RNA Reset products. I was hard-headed, and I just took them. I said, I don't feel like taking them, but I am going to take them.
Right. Now, the diarrhea, do you think that's a part of the body just trying to detox, get dump? Was it
I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't just loose bowels. It was like water.
Watery, yeah. Right. Yeah, that's
I lost 20 pounds in those 10 days. But
we call it the quarantine 20. So
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, 20 pounds. That's amazing. Oh, well, I don't want to have to
I was not real proud of those 20 pounds, but that's all right.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't want to get sick to get rid of my 10, but I'd like to get rid of them. Well, you sound just fantastic. So did you have
so much better.
Right. Do you have questions, or
I just commenting. Well, the only question is the Remag lotion back in stock again? I can ask that on the telephone.
No.
Okay. But Priscilla, we have a couple of bottles that I tucked away in my desk for people who have to have it for a therapeutic purpose. So if you fall into that category, just email Lisa at customer service and let her know, and she'll figure it out for you.
Well,
All
yes,
right.
actually, Priscilla.
I still have, I started on my last one.
Well, then you'll let us know when you run out, because you do need that for your leg to keep that.
I do.
Open.
It's like I have to have that for my legs.
Right. And Ginny's going to send you the vitamin C, so it'll be interesting what you determine from that. Okay. Right. So you just called in to brag, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
no, I'm Carolyn. I'm helping your research.
Oh, you are indeed. I took notes. I have all everything you said. I have in the file.
One of my friends says, I said, why are all of my healthcare advisors, or not really advisors, but people I consult with, I said, why are they all mischievous?
No.
She said, well, consider the common denominator.
Yeah, consider the source. Yes. Okay.
Oh, anyway.
Thank you so
all
much.
Right. Thank you.
Big hug, Priscilla.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Awesome.
Oh, very good. She's so proud. Once again, showing the enduring power of the formulas, I dare say, and if she were still on the phone, she would probably agree with me that Priscilla would have had as easy a job had she not been on the formulas. You know, it wasn't easy, but you know, just so much more manageable, the way that our formulas fortify your body. And she was armed with the knowledge, having listened to us for all these many months, and all of our very good guests and our contributors, that she knew that she had it within her to just work with the infection, work with her body, let it go, move through, and that she would be with us on the other side. And that's exactly our message. And I'm constantly concerned about these people, Carolyn, who want to continue to spread this fear with a quote unquote, it's not even a pandemic anymore. It's been taken down from a pandemic level, but with an infection that has a 98, 99% recovery rate. Yes, it's 98% in people over 65, but I mean, a lot of people recover from this COVID infection, right?
Right. And but the other thing that should be said about Priscilla, and you know, I'm looking through here where to find out when she first phoned in. It might have been around May, and she's had a lot of health challenges. And what she's done in her life, like she said, the research. And it sounds like she's into essential oils. She's mentioned essential oils several times. She's in Tennessee. And see, this is what's wonderful about someone like Priscilla, is she has so much knowledge, and she's used so many different remedies over the years, and yet she still finds that our products, you know, are the bomb. So she can use both, but yes, she gives kudos to our formulas. It was back in January she started. I don't have her in 2019. I just have her since January of this year. So happy anniversary coming up for Priscilla.
Yeah, very good. Oh, very sweet. Very sweet. All right, let's go continue to press on. Oh gosh, we're at the top of the hour, Carol. But we've got to cross over to the next hour, take a sip of Remag mineral water. So we're going to cross over, and we'll meet you on the other side of the next hour, you guys. We'll be right back with you.
We'll be back with Hour 2 of the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with host Ginny Sanders, right after this brief station break. You can also get updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com. That's drcarolyndean.com.
Did you know there are 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency? Magnesium deficiency is a public health crisis growing in scope and proportion. Dr. Carolyn Dean, author of The Magnesium Miracle, has identified over 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency, 100 factors that lead to magnesium deficiency, and 24 reasons why magnesium deficiency occurs. Order The Magnesium Miracle today at Amazon.com and learn how to remedy this pervasive condition.
Do you have questions about your health? Are you wondering about alternatives? Do you ever wish you could have 5 minutes with a doctor you can trust? Someone who is an internationally recognized authority in the field of natural medicine? Meet award-winning doctor, naturopath, and best-selling author of The Magnesium Miracle, Carolyn Dean, MD, ND. Hear a wealth of information designed to empower listeners and callers to discover how to improve health, vitality, and well-being through a variety of safe strategies and nutritional options. Dr. Carolyn Dean Live. Shows can be heard every Monday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern, with weekly live shows, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Natural health, vitality, and well-being. Yes, everyone wants it, but not everyone is sure how to achieve it. Dr. Carolyn Dean's Completement Formulas are more than just dietary supplements. They're whole foods and picometer minerals designed to complete your nutrition, not just supplement it. Experience the difference Dr. Dean's formulas make. Visit RNAreset.com to learn more. That's RNARESET.com.
Omega Institute, offering workshops, retreats, and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. With more than 40 years at the forefront of holistic studies, Omega is known the world over as a trusted source for integrated approaches to personal growth and social change. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 877-944-2002. Again, 877-944-2002.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Return now to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders. Phone lines are open during live broadcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. And for those of you who absolutely love our intro and outro music, we want to give a quick shout out to our very own, very precious, very special Dave Neufeld, Canadian extraordinaire music producer, extraordinaire good friend, and wonderful advocate for the show. We're thankful Dave puts our intro music together for us all the time, right, Carolyn?
That's right. Yes, we love Dave.
We love Dave, and he captures the joie de vivre of Dr. Dean, scooting down the road on her in her little purple tennis shoes, skipping up and down the hills of Maui on her walks. It just always, when I hear the music, it always reminds me of you.
Aww.
All right. So everybody, we're going to take more phone calls. This is the time to get your questions in. This is the time to talk with Dr. Dean for sure, for sure. Let me just remind you of the number 646-558-8656. Again, that's on all the literature. It's on your TV, your computer screen, 646-558-8656. And then you'll want to put in that ID number, which is 8836953587. Again, it's written out on our YouTube channel. It's on our chat line. It's everywhere. So we invite you to call in. And when you do call in, you've got to hit *9 on your keypad to raise your hand. And I'm going to put you on the phone by calling out your area code number. So for example, if you're in Austin, Texas, area code 512, actually, and then we've got to go to the next. So 512, I'm sending you a little blue button on your computer so you can see, or your phone, so you can see to unmute your phone. There you are. Welcome to the show. If you could give us your name and then ask your question or comment, please.
Yes, thank you. My name is Noni Kaufman, and I have a question about what you mentioned. The sound was kind of cutting out about what you were recommending in terms of psyllium and bentonite for yeast. I've been fighting the yeast battle for a very long time and have done lots of different supplements. I take a little bit of psyllium, but recently my peristalsis really slowed down, and maybe it was, detox from the different things that I'm doing. And I've just had a heck of a time getting it rebalanced with, playing around with fiber, and now, now having the insight about maybe it's the yeast die-off from, using some of your products and some of the other things. So just wanted what amounts of psyllium and bentonite you recommend, and any other thoughts you have.
Right, Noni. Have you read my book, Reset the Yeast Connection?
I haven't, so I should get that.
I think so. I think that'd be good, just to, sort of lay the groundwork for what I'm talking about, because yeast it's necessary in the body. So I try to sort of step back from treating it as an infectious organism and we have to kill. It's more like we have to balance it. And, did you say your bowels had slowed down? I kind of missed that.
Yeah, I was having, all of a sudden, I had really normal movements, and then all of a sudden, a couple months ago, excuse me, something just went off. Let me close that off so it doesn't make noise. Okay. The peristalsis slowed down. So then I tried to do different things, and I did too much at once and threw myself into diarrhea. So now I'm trying to find my way back and having a really, really tough time. I find if I use too much fiber, then it's just pushing a bunch of stuff out my system, but it's not getting back to normalcy.
Right. What do you do for probiotics?
I have done all different kinds of things, but recently from a colon therapist, I got a product from a woman that she knows well, from Brenda Watson.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Microflora. You know that one?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know Brenda, but I don't know exactly what's in the Vitaflora. Is it a soil-based or is it a lacto-bifido?
It is. It's more of a lacto-bifido.
Yeah.
And and now I've been reading about, a lot of people are saying we should move towards more of a postbiotic and do stuff with butyric acid. And
no, I mean,
you don't subscribe to that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just finding out what the good bacteria produce, which is butyric acid, and giving that rather than working on the probiotics themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like a replacement therapy in hormones. I think what I've realized over the years is that Actually, I'm preparing a PowerPoint for a digestion seminar I'll be doing in a few weeks. And it just reminded me of the whole probiotic research when it began only just a couple of decades ago. They thought it was all about lactobacillus and bifidobacteria, because that's what they found in the stool. It's like, oh, that it comes out in the stool. Oh, that's what we need. And, and then they went focused on that. There are, trillions of bacteria. There are thousands of different species. And for them to say, oh, this is what you need, it's just that throws the balance off. So I don't know when your slight constipation or, irregularity started. It doesn't really matter. But what I think has happened is perhaps the time of the diarrhea, you sort of flushed out some of your good bacteria, and now it's just hard getting it back. And what I found is it's soil-based is very important. I used to recommend soil-based Prescript Assist, but then their formula changed. But even so, they only have 10, 12 bacteria in their formula. Now they are mostly soil-based, so that was good. But what I did is I took it a step further with our Flora Revive, which has it's actual soil. It's humic fulvic acid from deep underground sources, which have the hundreds, if not thousands, of probiotics involved with them, and the prebiotics to feed them. So there's that in the Flora Revive. Plus, I have the Saccharomyces boulardii, which is very safe antifungal. And what I say there is, yes, you don't want to be killing yeast all the time, but if you can use a low dose of a natural antifungal, then it means you don't have to live such a fanatic life with, don't eat any fruit. Are you kidding? I live in Maui. So again, I create formulas, based on what I want. So it just turns out that the soil bases here, we have inulin there, which is a prebiotic, and the Saccharomyces just seems to balance people out. It is to try to achieve a balance. And so
I think I worked through one bottle of that already, because I had a replacement bottle I just noticed in my cupboard. But now I don't remember exactly when I was using it. And I was also trying some of the microbe formulas that are carbon-based, but you like the soil-based better?
Well, the soil-based will have carbon. I mean, humic fulvic is just is chock full of carbon. I know Zach Bush's formula, we recommended that for a time, the Restore.
Yeah, and I use that.
Yeah. So that I just wanted to go a step further, because I'm really concerned about yeast overgrowth. I mean, it is the basis of so much chronic disease, and so many of our customers, they come up against it. And even though people say, well, I tried to treat it a long time ago, it's like everybody gave up on it. And it's because it's just too much work.
Yeah.
So
and I cut out fruit for a very long time, and now I put a little bit back in, like apples and berries. So, just can't keep not having any fruit.
No. So read the Reset the Yeast Connection, and see what you make of that. Modified diet, and the Flora Revive, along with Pico Silver, is the basis of what I call yeast management. In terms of the psyllium and bentonite, that's mainly for people who are having a lot of GI toxicity, like when you were going through the diarrhea. That's where I would say, put in the bentonite to try to soak up some of those toxins. or when people start out on their yeast detox, or the woman that had a question, too toxic to even take magnesium. Well, then, the immune system is trying to get rid of some sort of infection. So let's see. But the reason why I want psyllium in there actually is because we're not getting as much fiber as we used to.
Right.
In general. And I created some of that because I told people, ketogenic diet, that's going to be good for you. But hopefully I warned people that you really had to be sure to get your fiber, because fiber feeds the bacteria in the intestines. Fiber is necessary. So I do mostly intermittent fasting, where I don't eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
So what I do in the morning is I'll have a teaspoon of real fine granular psyllium and a tablespoon of bentonite, and I use that for fiber for my bacteria, and the bentonite, just to keep up with my yeast, which I keep feeding with my fruit. So, I mean, that's a lot of words, but you can go over them in Reset the Yeast book, and that's a free download at drcarolyndean.com.
All right, great. And then for the Revive, do you just recommend just going by the bottle label?
Yeah, it's just one twice a day. One in the morning, one in the evening. It's you don't have to refrigerate it, so that's nice. You can take it with or without a meal, so that's nice.
Okay, great.
We're coming out with in a month or so a Flora Revive Lite, LITE, where I take out the Saccharomyces antifungal, because there's there's a certain point where, you don't want to keep taking an antifungal. And what I'm going to do with that is probably take my Flora Revive one day, and then take Flora Revive Light the next day, or maybe one of each in the day. And it's all an experiment. I mean, you look what you've gone through. It's just constant experimenting. But now you have some more information. Lacto and bifido, they're not going to do much, because they're just 2 of 1,000 different species. So you can't pump those up. So what happened, I realized years ago when I was, doing my telephone consulting, when the lacto and bifido weren't helping people, the colony counts started going up to like dramatic levels, like billions of units, where it used to be 1 million, and then there's billions. And it's just the allopathic approach. Well, if a little bit isn't helping, we'll give a lot. In the back of their mind, they thought, well, this is the answer, but it wasn't. And when it wasn't working, they just gave more. And I actually had clients who got toxic from taking too much of one species of probiotic.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. That's really good. So, so would you advise me to just do that, like that teaspoon of psyllium and a tablespoon of bentonite too for a while?
Well, the psyllium for sure. The bentonite, if you think you're toxic, you don't sound toxic. You just sound like you've got to fine tune your balance. And I think it's balancing your probiotics. And if you take the Flora Revive with the soil-based, and maybe put tablespoon or 2 of sauerkraut in your diet, kimchi, do some fermented foods to get those bacteria. In my digestion PowerPoint, I've got a slide about how pet owners have better intestinal microflora because they let their dogs lick their face. So it's getting all the bacteria you can. My dentist friend, when he went down to whatever, Guatemala, he said he'd go in the woods and get some dirt and kind of eat a bit of their dirt to get those bacteria. We've hygiened ourselves out of our microbiome.
Absolutely.
And it's even worse now. It's even worse with COVID.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I have your other products, like I have, or many of them. I've got the silver and the zinc and the Remag and the Remite and the potassium. And let's see, Align and the and the D3 and all that. So I'm just trying to find that sweet spot of how much magnesium to use and not, put myself into diarrhea.
Right. Did you do that home test kit to find out your magnesium and D and omega levels?
No, but my D level was low. I had that tested recently, and when I had increased it before, it went up. And so now I'm increasing it a bit. So I'm taking yours plus a little bit more of vitamin D that has some A in it as well.
Right.
But I don't know about the other. But everything's kind of so off right now that I'm just looking for kind of a base. I've just been using, like, let's say I've been using a capful of silver, a half of the zinc, and Remag, kind of playing around with from day to day, and just a tiny bit of the potassium, and then Remite just by the label.
Right. Well, with the Remag, I think what you got to do, Noni, is hit on an amount from Remag and stick to it. Don't bounce up and down. Are you at maybe the 2 teaspoon a day stage?
I don't know, because I've varied it, trying different things, and I've used some topical magnesium because I was out of your cream, so I've just used a regular spray to say, okay, maybe it's too much for my gut to handle all of it going in that way. Let me use a little bit topically.
Right. Well, go back to 1 teaspoon a day, and then just stay with. I would stay with that for like 2 weeks, and don't budge it. And while you're doing that, you're going to be doing the psyllium, you're going to be doing the Flora Revive, and 2 teaspoons of Pico Silver.
Okay.
And then see how that goes. And if you find you're getting any magnesium deficiency symptoms, then you'll need a teaspoon and a half or 2 teaspoons. So play it like that. Okay. And then
thank you so much.
Great questions. It allowed me to put out a lot of information. So that's wonderful. And the Pico Potassium, I guess, what you could do there is check the Chronometer app, CRONOMETER.com, and sign up and get their information to find out how much potassium you're getting in your diet, because it may be that you have to balance your magnesium and potassium levels. You might need a little more potassium, because they work so well together.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great call. Thank you. Bye-bye now, Noni. Thank you for being such a great customer. Wonderful. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, awesome. Very good. Wonderful call. That's a beautiful exchange, Carolyn. Very, very nice. Let's go to area code 512 again, different 512 this time. We've unmuted your phone by sending you the little blue button to area code 512-265. 512-265. You've got to hit the little blue button to come into the call with Dr. Dean, and then we'll put, there you go. Hello.
Hi, so this is Kristinek. Thank you for taking my call, and I also know Noni. We're friends.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I know. So when she started, I had just texted her earlier and said I was thinking about you. Hope you're doing good. And then I heard her voice. And I was like, wait, what? I'm confused. Anyway, so I'm calling. You have been wonderful, first of all, in answering my mini texts, and I appreciate the time and everything. So thank you. I began Remag back in the summer and have progressively gotten, so much better to where, my digestion issues and stuff I basically since August have had the best, 3-4 months in the last 5 years. So it's just been wonderful. Mm-hmm. And I started the Remite, and I was trying to drink it out throughout the day and then changed to just drinking it in the morning. I just put in a little glass with some liquid B12 until I get through that. Then I'm going to try your B vitamins. And I also have 3 kids in the background that like to sing out loud when they're brushing their teeth and stuff. So I apologize. I'm trying to get everybody to be quiet. So if there's background noise, I apologize.
That's fine.
Anyway, I've got them on Remag as well and a little bit of Remite. They do notice the taste, and they do, especially the 5-year-old will go, I don't like my water right now, so I have to try to figure out how to.
We have the answer to that, Kristen, if I could interrupt. Did you
please.
hear about our vitamin C powder berry juice?
Yes, I actually just noticed that. And so that was, I definitely want to learn more about that. I just saw that, and I've been on some of the Monday calls, and I heard y'all talking about that because I think I recall you saying sometimes you get tired of the flavor and you're ready for, some fruit flavor and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so looking for.
Yeah, just get that. The kids will love it. It's like a berry soda. So it'll hide the taste and give them, some vitamin C as well. So it's
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So that'll be my next thing to go on and probably get that this evening. I had a question about the RNA drops. I started those probably, I don't really recall, maybe at the beginning of October, maybe at the end of September. And very small at first because my system's pretty sensitive at times. And so I noticed sometimes when I take them, like today, I did start my cycle, so I know there's that. But when I did the drop, I'm only at a drop, and I did the drop today, I noticed on some days I will get slightly, for lack of better, it's almost like scatterbrained where I'm trying to get things done super fast. And it's usually within about 15 minutes after taking it. And then I'll get somewhat agitated. Meaning like just really short tempered for a little bit. It settled down after a while, but I'm like, what is going on? And I just noticed that today I went, wait a minute, that's every time I do those little drops. And it's not every time. I shouldn't say that. It's just on occasion where I'll just, and so I was wondering if you've ever heard of anything like that, or if it's just, I don't know. I wanted to ask.
Well, yes, it's fascinating to think that one drop can do that, but it can't.
Exactly.
We have definitely heard that, experienced that ourselves, where it just kind of opens things up, it activates, it sometimes reinforces something you're going through at the moment. So I mean, if you've got a house full of kids and are doing probably, multiple things, then you're, it's like it magnifies.
Hello.
Hello, we're here.
I'm losing her for some reason. I lost that last few.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me.
Ginny, am I on?
You are on. Can you hear her?
Yes.
Y'all can hear me? Okay, I couldn't hear. It sounded like a microphone kind of going in and out, and then it went out.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So where I was at was saying that the drops are like a mirror for where you're at, and it's just for you to say, okay, I'm magnifying where I'm at. Maybe I can step back a bit, maybe I can take some more Remag or go outside and take a breath. That's all.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Now, when you said that they actually are kind of opening up stuff, I was like, oh, yeah, sensory type things where the kids, and it is usually involved with loud noises and trying to clean up really quick or looking for something, somebody can't find. And I'm going, you just kind of go. So that absolutely makes sense. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that.
Hello?
Oh, everybody got me?
Yep, we're good. Are you caught up
good.
with your questions?
I am. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, Carolyn, anything else you'd like to add? Okay, I think we might have lost Dr. Dean. Well, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, very good. All right, a few little technical glitches tonight, but that's all right. We can keep going. Just want to remind everybody again, if you hear something on the show, question or comments, questions, questions, at Dr. Carolyn Dean Live is what you want to do in order to email and have a clarifying conversation with either Melody Rose or Dr. Dean. Also, we thank all of our participants for being with us tonight. We've got our wonderful listeners on YouTube, which you can find through the Dream Vision 7 radio and network channel at YouTube. We've got our great folks on the chat, and we've got all our wonderful listeners. We've got Elma in Kuwait. Hello, Elma, who stays up and listens at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I just think is the most precious thing. And all of our other wonderful, listeners who are constantly here with us, calling and contributing, sharing their thoughts and their ideas. So we've got Dr. Dean back with us this evening. Thanks, Carolyn. Are you back? Carolyn's back. Are you there? She's coming.
I'm back.
Okay. I'm back. Okay. Wow. So here we are. No waving blue hands yet, Carolyn, so we can press on with our important conversations.
Okay, so I'm just looking for my file. So is Kristen gone? Are we good? Okay.
Yep. She wrapped up.
Okay, great. So yeah, that was another good call. So with the testimonials, let me run through a bunch of those. I have several, and at the end of each one, I'll stop and see if you have something for me. Okay, Ginny?
Yes.
So Dee Dee, who Bob and I have known for decades, she sent an email today and said that she was using our products to help her get through her hepatitis C. And she said the Pico Silver cut my dosing of the drugs she had to take down to 4 weeks instead of 8. So she thought that was awesome and very happy with that. And she said her daughter Meadow is the manager of a store in a big mall. She had to wear the dang mask too many hours in the day. She recently was very sick with the flu. She started on the Pico Silver and went for a COVID test as required. She continued to rest, sleep deeply, and soon began to feel much improved as of yesterday. Absolutely better and nearly completely well today. She got her test back saying she was positive, yet she was already through it before the results came. The only remedy she used was Pico Silver. And so Dee Dee thanks us so much for the amazing remedies. And she said her hairdresser or hair cutter is amazed by how her hair is still rich in color, all from the minerals. And she said she also loves the protein powder, and the bees are the best ever. So much energy from just those two. Much love and light, Dee Dee. That was very sweet. And Charisse writes, I'm excited to learn more and listen to your show tonight. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 7. I'm now in my 40s, and I've had some challenges, not just diabetes, but life-related. I have found... No, she says, I've been down many rabbit holes trying to heal and can honestly say I have more success in the past year since coming across one of your podcasts and ordering my first bottle of Remag than I have had in the past 5 years combined. I'm now on many of the formulas. I have much more to learn, more changes to make, and have hope that I will continue to feel better. Of course you will, Charisse. Are you still there, Ginny?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm getting a note that my internet connection is unstable. If I get kicked off, I will phone back in rather than internet, okay?
Sounds perfect.
So Kate, who runs our Instagram, sent me a bunch of short Instagram testimonials that are very cute because they all have hearts and clappy hands beside them. People are very into their emoticons or whatever they're called. Someone says, first I took only Remag, then added Remite. I have noticed that my alertness is getting better. Thank you for your formulas. The next one, I've been taking Remag for 2 months now. It's been a game changer for me and my energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And someone just notes Remite and plus Remag equal sunburst, stars, and a few other things. And next one, I use Remag and love it. It helped me heal from burnout several years ago. My endocrine system says, thank you, Dr. Dean. Next one, I just got my vitamin C powder today. It's awesome. The taste is amazing. And it is. Everybody loves our berry powder. And next, today was my first day using the new product. I guess it's the vitamin C. Just great. I appreciate how you are developing products to cover the needed vitamin and mineral supplements. And number 7, you're an upper for my morning. Thank you for such inspiring thoughts. Now, yes, this is Kate. She's putting some of my words and pictures and videos up on Instagram, and people really love them. And people love the grounded one videos, Jenny. And I think it was last Thursday or Friday, Chad put out a 3-minute sort of compilation of the grounded one videos. We had 45 of them. And Kate did a 3-minute compilation that just brought me to tears. It was so wonderful. Did you get a chance to see it yet, Jenny?
No, I didn't get a chance to see it yet, but it's on my list of things to do. And I can see if I can find it and post it here on the chat line for everyone.
Well, what it was is what we found when we did the grounded one videos was, people are very introspective and, they seem almost sad about, what's going on and what they're going through. And that came through on this 3-minute compilation. But then there was a point where Kate edited in where people were talking about the remedies, and people, they just started glowing. They started smiling and laughing and saying how much they enjoyed the products. So to me, it was like in this 3-minute video, people sort of changed from their, I have to ground myself and deep, do my deep breathing. And that really helps me. And then they talked about how the remedies were helping them, but it wasn't just their words, their whole aspect changed. They just turned into happy people. And that's what we think is happening, that people are actually changing their whole, I guess, vibration or frequency with taking these products, and it shows. And I was just so happy that Kate was able to capture that. It's amazing. It's a really great little video. And the next person says, believe it or not, I've come to like the taste of Remag in my water. I actually prefer it to just plain water. And someone says, my 17-year-old son just asked if your vitamin C is out yet. Number 10, your products are insane. I hope to try the vitamin D soon. I want to do a post specifically about Remag too. It's amazing. Actually life-changing. Thank you. Now, this is interesting. I don't know if this person knows, but maybe Kate has said it on Instagram, but next week we are having another, what do we call it, Ginny? A product giveaway for sending us your video about your Magnesium Miracle. So that is coming up. I don't know. Chad and Kate will outline, what's involved and if it's going to be about magnesium or the Magnesium Miracle book or about ReMag. But we had so much fun with the first contest, I guess you could call it, that we're doing another one right away. Is there anything else you can remember about the contest, Ginny?
I thought it was going to start this week, but I didn't get any details. So no, I don't know. I think you're on top of that more than I am, Carolyn.
Okay, great. So where would I find out if it's this week? Because that would be nice. I know we're talking about magnesium this week, but maybe next week is the video.
Oh, okay. Very good. It could be. I
think I have a list. But yeah, that's important. If I'm bringing this up, let me clarify. Okay. We need the details. November 9th.
It's today.
Yeah, Magnesium Miracle Journey Week.
Yep. It's now, so I don't know. Yes, but I didn't get any of the details. But maybe we talk about it tomorrow. Or, a lot of times Chad lets us do the radio show on Monday and open it up. And then he starts sending out emails on Wednesday, which I'm pretty sure is what's going to happen. Okay. And then he'll let everybody know how to participate in the Magnesium Miracle journey of just noting, when we talked about it, a lot of times people say that their healing journey really begins when they read that book. I got a copy of the Magnesium Miracle, and then I started to do this and that. So I think we were going to include the Magnesium Miracle book and ReMag in the comp test whenever you encountered the first inkling about your need for magnesium, and then you started to use the product. Kind of that's where people's lives turn around. And I think one of the biggest miracles comes when people realize that they don't have a disease, they have a deficiency, which is so much easier to resolve than a disease.
I know. Yeah, that was amazing when I realized with the ReMag, people could take enough magnesium to make such a big difference in their saturation without getting the laxative effect. I mean, people just stop if they get the laxative effect. I would too. I did too. So it's about the saturation. You'll still see articles where doctors will say, well, when you get the laxative effect, then you're saturated. No, you're not. You're just not taking the right magnesium.
Yeah. I just remember when I had my own little aha, probably in 2016 or 17, when you were writing the AFib book, the first free AFib book that we gave out, and you were explaining that you don't have a disease, you have a magnesium deficiency. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that is so profound. If people who had AFib could actually grasp that awareness, because doctors will tell people you've got AFib and there's nothing you could do about it, and you're going to have it for the rest of your life. My God, what a horrible thing to say.
No, it's almost as if the doctors are complicit with Big Pharma to get people on as many drugs as they can as a preventative, which was never. It's never in any of our medical books that people should take drugs to prevent illness. I mean, that's just fake. It's totally fake. Because what happens with any type of drug is you'll get side effects. Definitely. I mean, there was one blog I wrote that I just glanced over where the average number of side effects for drugs, when you average them out across the board, is about 79 adverse effects per drug. And you look at statistics like with Alzheimer's. I'm reading a book on the gut microbiome and how the gut is the second brain, and how when our guts are out of balance, our brains get out of balance. And anyway, it's all quite interesting. But this author was talking about the drugs that they're trying to create for Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's drugs and toxicity that's causing the problem in the first place. I mean, don't they even get that? It's mind-boggling.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to a couple phone calls, Carolyn. Area code 352. Area code 352, you're on the line. I'm pushing the little blue button to unmute your phone. And if you click that, your phone will be off mute, and then you can come into the call and talk with Dr. Dean this evening. About another 15 minutes in the show. So area code 3, there you go. Come on in.
Okay. Hi, this is Rhea in Florida, and I've called before.
Yes. Hi, Rhea.
Hi. Oh, I'm still struggling. I just, at the top of my list, I have here colonoscopy. Should I? And I've tried so many things for my gut, and I'm still struggling. So really, it's really been hard. I get diarrhea just anytime, doesn't matter what time of day, just for no reason. I have a big hard stomach that I can't get rid of, and lately I've had more tummy aches, like almost all the time. I feel kind of uncomfortable in my tummy. And I'm wondering if you think I've been putting off. The doctors have wanted me to go for a colonoscopy, and I've been putting it off because I know I've been told in the past that I might have Crohn's disease, and I don't want to go.
Yeah, it is important to get tested. We say that, and the customer service says that if you really do have to have either an examination or an investigation if you have chronic symptoms. I know a lot of people were putting off their colonoscopy because of the hospital situation and COVID, but I get colonoscopies. Bob gets them. It's really important to do that because that's the one thing where they can really see something.
Yeah, I guess I just have to bite the bullet and do it. I'm afraid they're going to tell me I have to go on steroids, and I don't want to do that.
Now, do you have a history of Crohn's disease? Why do you say that?
Well, I had a test done. Some lab did a test about 5 years ago, and they told me I had Crohn's. And then a few years ago, I had the exact same test done with the same lab, same doctor, and it said I did not have Crohn's disease. Then about a year ago, I went to the first GI doctor has retired, and he did a colonoscopy in May of 2018 and didn't find anything. But anyway, now when I went about a year ago, the doctor said, you must get a colonoscopy because they did the camera. They sent a camera down there, and he said everything looked good except for a little corner of my, I think he said large intestine. It looked like it might be Crohn's, and he could only tell if I had a colonoscopy. And that's when I didn't go back. I didn't go back.
Right. Well, and then, all that, you've got so many layers of information. Yes, no, maybe, that it puts your mind in conflict. And that conflict actually can tighten up your gut and give you symptoms just of, sounds a bit like IBS symptoms that a person develops from a lot of stress. And the IBS, even Crohn's, can be related to yeast overgrowth and food intolerances, gluten, dairy, that sort of thing. So there are a lot of layers there, but I think this stress that of you every day wondering if you should have a colonoscopy is actually causing more symptoms.
Yeah.
You have to. yeah, what it is to be able to address it. And even the total biology approach would be important for you, because it's like what with gut stuff is, what can't I digest? What's going on in my life that I just find hard to, quote, digest? And what am I holding on to, which in people would be constipation or gas? Or what am I trying to flush out of my life, which is diarrhea? So the intestines hold a lot of information. And that's where we would be recommending Dr. David Holt to have.
I had a conference with him about 3 months ago, and did everything he told me to do. And then I didn't call him back, and he never called me, and that was kind of the end of it. Neither one of us called, and I guess maybe it was my place to call him, but
yeah, I think so. I think it is your place to call.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to chase down a person. No, that's not professional. But you've got to stick with something. What you're telling me here. Well, I should get a colonoscopy, but I didn't. Just. You're all over the place because you're worried. So the first thing is get the colonoscopy, find out, and then you can, call up Julie, call up support at RNA Reset, and start figuring out what you do. Maybe go back to Dr. Holt with a diagnosis, so you're not up in the air. Because when you're talking to him, you might not even know what you're talking to him about.
Right. Okay, that's what I need, just a little push in the right direction, I guess. And
Right.
So I will.
Yeah, and colonoscopies, they're, from what I remember from mine, they just give you something to put you to, in a gentle sleep, and you don't feel a thing. And it's over in a flash, and then they give you your information. Okay, Rhea, so just book it in before the flu season starts and the hospitals start filling up again.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Rhea, and stay in touch. We're here for you. Okay.
I will. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
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 Okay, let's take one more call real quick, Carolyn. Just a few minutes to the top of the hour, area code 847. 847, you're on the line with Dr. Dean. I've just unmuted your phone. If you can, there you go. Come on in and give us your name.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. What's your first name?
Beverly.
Okay, Beverly. What do you got for us today?
I'm the one with Wegener's disease. I wrote you sent you an email with everything I was taking of the completements, and you said you would look at that, and I was just wondering if you had a chance to look at it and see where something might need to be rebalanced.
Right. I thought I sent that back. I'll check into that. I'm sorry if you haven't got that yet, but yes, we'll get that to you.
Okay, I'll wait for it then.
Okay, but thanks for reminding us. Okay.
That's okay. Sure, thank you.
Okay, that was a quickie.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay, so here we are, Carolyn, with just a few minutes to wrap up the show. What else would we like to discuss this evening?
Well, you can bring up a topic, or I have 4 more Instagram testimonials.
I think we could do a testimonial about what a great staff we have in our warehouse and in our customer service team, working so diligently every single day to make sure everybody's got the things that they need and get the support that they need. We have a great a great group of people that have been working with us for a long time. Very devoted to Dr. Dean and all of our customers. So I think giving a love shout out to them is appropriate. And besides that, Carolyn, whatever you'd like to add.
Yes, I realized, when I started the show talking about how we see everybody in their health. I mean, that is, really true. And it's probably reinforced because we see the changes in our customers. We see miraculous changes. And it may be hard for some folks who are just starting out and they're stressed out. They're actually, there was one question today about someone who's too toxic to take the magnesium. Some people, even if they don't have the yeast overgrowth, some people, they take the magnesium and it stirs up their 1,000 enzyme processes and it just freaks them out. And we just sit with them and say, just start with 1 drop. And we've had a handful of people, not that many, but we have had people who've started on a drop and now they're on their 2 and 3 teaspoons and doing just great. So we just know that the formulas work so well that we'll just sit with you. We'll just be there until you see the miracle that we see in our products.
Right on. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Right. And yes, here's the last 4 Instagrams. Thank you, Dr. Dean. You've taught me so much about how our bodies work and how to optimize our health. Great. Next one. I can't imagine life without magnesium. Next one. I can say that my experience has been phenomenal. No more muscle cramping, no more heart palpitations, and I feel better. Sleep has improved. And the last one. Yes. I suddenly started having badly bleeding gums. I took your vitamin C powder. In 3 days, the bleeding was gone. Scurvy. She had scurvy, Ginny. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So bleeding gums, I don't know if we've talked about that before, but I mean, I would get bleeding gums if I forgot to floss my teeth for a few days, and then I'd floss them and they'd be sort of, bleedy tender. But I'll have to pay attention since I've been taking the extra vitamin C powder. I take a whole scoop a day, so that's 2,000 milligrams. I put it right in my 16-ounce water, sea salted water, along with, my several teaspoons of all my formulas. And I swallow my capsules throughout the day with that mixture. And I'll have to really notice if my gums are stronger, because that's what vitamin C is supposed to do, is prevent you from having scurvy, which is kind of bruising, bleeding gums, and that bruising and bleeding, it can be happening deeper in the body, and we certainly want to prevent that. That's right. Where the blood vessels are a little more fragile and what they call friable, and that's where varicose veins come into play. And like I said, the bruising, if your grandmother or grandfather has bruising up their arms, you put them on that vitamin C powder straight away.
ASAP. Okay, last 30 seconds, quick question. Any suggestions for someone who is required to take a flu shot for a new job? She's not had any vaccines for many years.
Well, what I've done when I had to take shots, like for my citizenship, was I got a hold of the vial, because I'm a doctor, they let me take the vial. And then I put water in the vial and made a remedy out of the drops that were in the vial. I made a remedy that I took by mouth to kind of antidote the shot. But I don't know what to say. I mean, okay, here's what I would say. Andrew Saul's daughter, Helen Case Shaw, Saul, S-A-U-L, wrote a blog about how to take high-dose vitamin C and other vitamins around taking of a shot. So that's something that you could look at, is how to antidote it with high-dose vitamin C, and I would do magnesium as well, for sure.
Oh, all right. We've got to say goodnight, everybody. Thanks once again for everybody for calling in.
Yay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show. For questions about today's broadcast, email Dr. Dean at questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com. That's questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy.